And on that note, I want to emphasize that all men owe you money. As a woman, any man you meet automatically owe you money. You see the way black Americans are in America fighting for the reparation of their lands, of their stolen lands, and how they are fighting that America owe black people. That's how a man owe you. If you're a woman, a man owes you. Years and years of systemic oppression, years and years of kicking you out of power position, years and years of depriving you of work, health care, positions that were supposed to give you money and give you economical power. Men took it away from you. So men, if I meet any man right now, you owe me money. If you're not giving me money, please step out. You are not the patriarchy. You are not the patriarchy. So please, whenever you meet any man, you owe me. I already wrote about it, like when I was talking about 50-50, that is not a feminism concept, and that 50-50 was a made-up dating ideology that just started to trend with mainstream media when women were demanding for equality and men were like, okay, if you want equality, split the bills, right? It was not a feminist ideology. And in that post, I wrote that you owe me money. You owe me money. You need to reparate. Kind of repatriation. You owe me. So please, saying that I'm a repackaged sex worker.
So there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there. Um, but first and foremost, if you want to liken, slavery to, the patriarchy and see what's happening in America and thinking that's a good idea or that's a good model for why men owe you money, that's not really going well in America. That topic is not really going well because and it highlights this in the other sense. The the men that were responsible for patriarchy are the ones that really had the most control over it. Was such a small minority. So if you say they owe you money, those dead land barons and robber barons, and they owe you, sure, go collect from them. But when you have this point of view, it always needs the other side, right? When you argue against this power, you need that power to acknowledge you and say, yes, I agree. This is just not the case. Otherwise, you're going to continue to have this message and beat your head against the wall. But before we continue and tear this one apart, dive deeper into it, guys, continue to like, comment, subscribe. Sicky series continues. Sicky series continues. I think I might be able to get through a few more videos today than I did yesterday before the coughing fits took over. But guys, also check out. Make sure that your post notifications are on. Memberships are live. I think it's easier to see on the mobile now. I got the update from YouTube creators. But let's go back into this one. No one owes you money. No one owes you money. Some people may be obligated to help you out of a bind, friend, family, those that you consider really close to you as friends that have done that, you have that relationship. But no man that you meet off the street, that one that's you when you're pumping your gas and he sees you and he wants to holler, when he tries to spit that game, he doesn't owe you money. He doesn't owe you gas. The guy in the grocery store, he doesn't owe you. He doesn't owe you money. He doesn't owe you groceries. Right? That's when you have this mentality, and she says it, and later in the video about this is her feminist sort of ideology. It falls flat right immediately. Men don't owe you anything. Like the universe owes you absolutely nothing, nothing, nothing. If you have that demand upon men you meet, you have to meet men that actually share that same ideology. That, yeah, we owe you, we've done wrong by you, here's my money, here's my time, here's you know what I've worked for, I'm just going to give it to you because we owe you. You carry that idea out further. There's no real way to accomplish this, that every man owes every woman money because, again, liking it back to slavery and that's just not the case. That's just never going to be a thing that happens. Why I'm using this video, why this highlighting this video is because when you walk around with this idea And a lot of people get their they get their ideas, they get their ideology, they get their worldview from not experience, not the world, not traveling, not meeting other people in different cultures. And this woman sounds like she's Nigerian. And you take it from what you consume. It's not that it's just her opinion, and that's fine. My advice is always going to be with men. When you see people like this, when they reveal themselves to you, you just go the other way. Right? That's the best superpower you have. Just take your attention, go somewhere else. Pick up your ball and go home. But to the former point, when people see this, they take this ideology and they accept it as their own because it makes them feel good. Right? This is not something that has been tried and true and tested in your own life. That you saw this and this actually made sense to you. No, if you adopt this and you go forward with this, you're just going to meet and you're going to meet a lot of heartache. And sometimes it takes you years to find the error, find the fix when you try to walk things back. It takes years of your life that you already walked down the path with accepting this and espousing this and pushing this forward as this is who you are. Then, when you're not getting the results that you think, you're not finding men, powerful men that agree with you, and upon you meeting them, they say, "Hey, here's money." Not just that it influences your relationships interpersonally, right? That's not just a relational thing, but when you go to work, do you think your boss owes you money? Do you think the CEO of the company or the head of whatever agency you may be working, do you think he owes you money? I know she's not in the United States, but because she likened the United States to what she's saying, when in April when we saw 300,000 plus women lose their jobs, for various reasons, that's a clear indication that the country doesn't feel like it owes you anything. When you take these ideas as your own and you go forward, again, the danger is, again, we're not here to tell you what you can do, what you should do with your own ideology, with your own life. But when you adopt this and you push forward with this, what happens is you end up poisoning your own well. People that could be good for you are repulsed by this, right? People that could possibly employ you, they see your social media, they see stuff like this that you espouse and say, "Oh, you're not a good fit for the company," right? Or they simply you already have the you already have the job, and the job says, "No, you're not a good fit," right? My point is, go out and live your own life. Live your own life. Experience the world for yourself. Whenever you meet someone, go in there with a clean slate, a clean reaction, and the ability to have a clean reaction and see what is. Shape your own worldview, not just from what you consume, but temper it with real world experience. That way, you're not just taking something that's repackaged. You're not just accepting, well, this makes sense. This feels good, right? Sometimes you have to dive into the other side that doesn't feel good. It just sharpens your argument. It makes by sharpening your argument, sometimes it chips away at things that you held, that you believe to be true. Turns out it's completely wrong, but you're better for the interaction. So, this is kind of just factually not really the case. Like, if you're talking about Native Americans in stolen lands, that's the congruent sort of argument, right? But we're not here to just to pick apart that. We're here to look at just sort of dissect the entire thing. Um, I wanted to note that because what you often see when people are making improper arguments, they're taking pieces of things that emotionally seem correct to you. We see it all the time in politics. When you want to liken some politician to something bad, you take the worst thing. Like, oh, he's a Nazi, right? He supports this. Um, when I first started writing, and I'm taking like workshops and classes, and they say, "How do you introduce a villain and let the reader know that someone's a bad guy?" Do you just simply say, "And this is the bad guy. This is a villain"? No, you demonstrate them doing something bad, kicking a puppy, right? That's bad, and you can make the linkage. What we're doing here is the same thing. I know people generally feel bad or strongly about this, so I'm going to use that to support this argument, but when you actually look at the minutia and detail, you say, okay, that's wrong. And it should hopefully make you think, what else is wrong? Again, this feels good, right? But that guy that you passed on the subway or the train or you drove by today when he was walking, or the guy in the grocery store, he didn't impress you. Had nothing to do with you, right? Why would that person be have the onus of repairing you, someone who didn't suffer those things himself? That's sort of the backwards logic of this. A lot of the stuff that we experienced, a lot of the oppression that happened, and we're not denying that that happened, that it's real. A lot of that happened to your grandmothers, right? To our grandmothers and grandfathers, not us, right? Or the people responsible for that are long dead. Yes, the echoes of it still happen. It does it rightly still happen today. Yes, go after those people. Specifically go after those people. But when you generalize and think all men owe you money because of stuff that did not happen to you, oppression that was not visited upon your body or your psyche, and I get that loose sort of, I don't call it loose, that tenuous sort of argument that there's a sort of genetic memory for trauma. Perhaps, right? Perhaps. But how long can you play that card? It's not working in the United States in terms of reparations and black people. That's not something that's working. Maybe in some of the most liberal states it is, but generally speaking, that's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the winning argument that convinces power to listen to you. That's fair. just step out, guys. When you see stuff like this, just step out. Right? It couldn't be any simpler. It couldn't be any simpler. That's something that we constantly say on the channel. If someone is espousing rhetoric that you don't believe in, that doesn't make sense to you, you don't have to convince them otherwise. You only really, personally, in my life, I only will stop and try to convince someone of something that they're wrong if that person is important to me. If you have a belief that I feel or I believe is just factually wrong, but I don't know you, I'm not giving you that time, that energy of trying to correct you and say, listen, this is a wrong belief system that you've held. You only correct the people close to you, only correct people that actually matter to you. Otherwise, you say, okay, you have a good day. Let me step aside because I don't believe that I owe you money. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like what you heard, check out one of the videos that might be on the screen right now. Let me know what you think of those videos. Same with this one. I want to see you guys in the comments. See you in the next one.